Welcome to the Batch Boys. I'm Ryan S.
I'm KCS.
I'm Jake C.
And I'm Alex F.
And we are the Batch Boys. Boys, should we toast to week 3 of Nick's season, episode 3 of season 2 of subseason 4 of the Batch Boys?
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Glug, glug,
Cheers.
glug,
Cheers.
glug.
Ooh, this is good.
That is sweet.
Yeah, that is tart.
That is going to give me diabetes. I will not be drinking that.
Oh my God, it's already happened.
Little nugget for everybody out there. I'm a diabetic.
You're darn right. He's removing the stigma, everybody. And just like The Bachelor seems to be removing the stigma about sexual activity from the TV airwaves, because boy, oh boy, has this season been a regular romp or what?
Yeah, it's been like shockingly rompy.
Well, you just think about this episode in particular. You know, we're coming right off of Liz being sent home for having that pre-batch sexual relationship with Nick.
At Jade and Tanner's wedding.
Yeah,
Don't forget.
Good friends.
Yeah. And that set the whole episode off on a weird note. And the girls were so mad. Like, I get like being mad if a relationship is developing quicker than it should, but it seemed wrong for them to be so upset about like this happening months and months ago. Like, they were just strangers and now they're still strangers.
Yeah, Nick he said this happened in January and it's currently January, so it's been a year for us. For them, it was probably less.
Well, it happened at Jade and Tanner's wedding.
Yeah, of course, his good friend Jade and Tanner's wedding, and they had sex.
They had sex.
But yeah, I think it's important to note that that's not why she went home. It's because she was there for the wrong reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she's a doula, which
A doula.
no one needs that.
I
in
have
their
respect for the doulas, and I could use one because I'm 8 months pregnant, guys. There's a batch baby on the way.
life. Aw.
Oh wow, it's been long enough.
I don't support doulas. I just want to let that be known. I'm starting a feud with all doulas. If you want to tweet at me, let me know if you're upset about this. If you are a doula, shame on you.
Don't at me.
Hashtag all doulas are enemies.
Nice.
Thank you.
New.
That's a new
It's
one. So Liz went home. We had that, and because of their previous relationship at Jane and Tanner's wedding, and then we had some fun dates. That was like they brushed right by that. They didn't even show us most of that.
Yeah, it was nice to get past a lot of the drama that you knew the way it would play out. You know, we still obviously have all this Corinne stuff.
Well, you got to keep time.
Whatever.
You got to keep time. You got to get time going.
Yeah. If
Time is
only-
very critical in this episode.
Okay.
If only we had a timekeeper of sorts. I wish we knew which Backstreet Boy it was, but like there was.
Oh, it's the guy with the long hair.
It's the one that looks like white Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg.
but what's his name? He's the one. Yeah, white suit. Nice. Yeah, he's the guy with the long hair and the mustache and beard, and he's keeping time.
The creepy
The one-
uncle.
Was he
that
actually?
blatantly stands out the most? Where
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
who is that guy?
It was hard to believe that guy was a Backstreet Boy.
Well, you're talking about, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. The little Fu
Yeah.
Manchu. He's the one who's the happiest married.
Oh, is he?
They're all happily married.
Well,
but
he's on schedule.
He's the happiest.
He's always on time.
You got to be. That's what makes him so happy.
Yeah, that's his job with the Backstreet Boys. He keeps time.
He's keeping
Oh, yeah.
time. I don't remember why we called him the time.
Oh, I
What
do.
was-
I do.
What was
It's
the
'cause-
first thing he did?
When all of them were rehearsing and singing and dancing, he was just in the back, like keeping time, just going 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like,
Come on, guys, come on,
is that all he does?
Yeah. At one point, he shouted at them. It was
Yeah,
like,
he did.
Like, hey, easy, man.
He was
Like,
visibly frustrated.
you're on television.
We got time. We got to go.
Disney
He
will
did say at
put you
one
in the
point,
grave.
He was like, "We got to go. We got to make time here."
Yeah.
Really
It's
on
the
top
weirdest
of it.
thing.
And that's the most exciting thing about the Backstreet Boys, not the fact that they were, all-time greatest hits of our childhood, which they did that song. Remember when they sang the song with the girls in the house? I thought that was cool. That was like a
Yeah.
special moment.
Yeah, I like how you can tell some of them like purposely kind of have to do like the thing to make their voice higher, and other ones just have given up and they just aren't as good. It's like, oh,
They're real Front Street Boys nowadays. Standing on the corner pandering for money.
yeah.
I wish I knew who the Backstreet Boys were. Nick Carter for
That's
sure. I
literally
knew.
the only one I know is because of his brother.
Yeah,
wasn't,
Nick's the one who forces the
Was that
high
Joey
pitch.
Fatone? Was Joey Fatone?
Joey
No, he's
Fatone's
in
in sync. So
See,
is
I
Lance
thought-
Bass.
and
I like
Justin
them
and
better.
JC and Justin Timberlake,
bro.
and then there's the
Oh,
unknown
JC.
of their group,
JC.
their timekeeper.
The timekeeper.
Who's the timekeeper of the Batch Boys? Oh, it's Daniel.
It's definitely
It's
Daniel.
Daniel.
It's
yeah.
definitely Daniel.
Who's not here tonight in case you couldn't
He's
tell.
keeping time.
Yeah, he's full to
Elsewhere.
bursting on all of our time.
Yeah. You're darn tootin'. You're darn tootin'. And you know what else was tootin'? Those dance moves. They were rootin' and tootin' and dancing their hearts out on stage with the Backstreet Boys. I don't remember. Was there an objective for that one? Oh, the private solo
Oh,
serenade.
that was
Yeah.
painful to
That
watch.
was questionable.
Where everybody's just staring. Like, could you imagine being at this iHeartRadio show and expecting to see the Backstreet Boys? Instead, you get Nick and a bunch of women coming out and getting serenaded, and you have to watch him hold her very closely and dance back and forth for
And
like
kiss in front of all the girls.
a
That
full
was
song.
baller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, keep in mind, this was Danielle L., who's Danielle B's pick.
Danielle B.
You gotta keep him. You gotta keep him the Danielle straight. It's Danielle B's pick, and if he was here, he'd defend her to the death. So I think
Yeah.
we take this opportunity to tear her down a couple pegs.
Oh, I mean,
I'm down.
okay.
I don't
The
know how
thing
to.
you
She's
guys
actually
lead.
She's nice. I don't know how to.
She does seem very nice.
Look, the thing that I like centered on with this date that I thought was so weird is like, of course, all right. So there was like a sea of young fans out there of the Backstreet Boys. Presumably, a good portion of them are Batch Nation because Batch Nation is wide reaching. But there's got to be a couple bad eggs in there who don't watch the Batch. And what I'm wondering is what that was like for them, like having no idea why this one guy with
Totally.
like 13 women all over him like was just like up there, and then they were forced to watch like pigs in a kennel as she dances with him. Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I liked when they panned to the crowd, and you can tell like who was like happy to be there,
some
and who was
people-
confused, and who just didn't even know that there would be cameras present, and didn't dress or act
Didn't sign
in
any
accordance
forms.
to that. They just turned the camera to sea of blur, just a big mosaic blur over all these people they didn't get the rights to.
That's always the best part of the international dates is when they're walking through these foreign countries and these people are like, I have no conception of who you are. Although their country of origin probably has the Bachelor at this point. There's like a Turkish Bachelor, an
That
Australian
was a really good
Bachelor.
Kentucky accent. that you did.
Oh, I'm really great with accents. Give me any state and I'll do it.
No.
Georgia.
All right,
on.
well, then I win. Then I've won. I'm the best. I've stumped him. I stumped him.
I can't do it.
You can't even come
You
up with
got
an
me.
impression I can't do.
I just know how that's gonna play out.
It was going to be the same voice, yeah. Anyway, the Backstreet Boys all have very different voices. And who else has a different voice is Vanessa, especially when she's floating around puking.
Come on, guys.
This is the best and the worst.
I was really just hoping that she was gonna puke and it was all gonna come out and start floating in the air, and they have to like kind of.
I know.
Yeah.
I was definitely hoping
They
for that.
continue their date, but like the puke is still there, so they have to like just navigate around it.
Well, no, a little Sky producer would have floated in. Like, moved it away.
I was just hoping we'd see something happen with that paper bag she kept. Yeah, the space in the
Sculpin
Sky
Sky
Lounge.
PA.
This was the first real visualization of the Sky Lounge
Wow.
on The Bachelor.
True.
The Sky Lounge, as we all know in Batch Boys lore, is our version of the fantasy suite. It's our copyright-free version of the fantasy suite, and I'm pretty sure it would be something like that zero-G plane, the fantasy
or the
Sky Lounge.
rooftop dinner they had after where he cried for her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Is it just me, or was this the first time we've seen Nick act like an adult?
It was the first time we saw him have real feelings, and
And it broke him down to
it was
tears.
so overwhelming for him.
Yeah. Clearly, he's ready to be a man and a father with tears shed so easily.
I think for me, I think 3 out of 4 of us, 3 out of 5, because I don't think Alex got a pick on this, but we picked Vanessa as the Bachelorette, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think like this just sealed the deal for me. Like she's too good for Nick. You could
Whoa.
kind of see she is. I mean, look, like Vanessa, you could see in the dynamic that she was like dominating the conversation. Like she was pulling stuff out of him. I felt like
it's what she does for a living.
Yeah.
You know.
what
And
is she?
she's a special education teacher.
Oh,
And so it's, her job to be, patient and understanding and caring and knowledgeable and just mature and adult and beautiful. And what else, Casey?
Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Nope.
But yeah, it was so cool being able to see Nick like not have to worry about all these hijinks and drama and bouncy houses and,
I do have a theory though.
and hot tubs.
Oh no.
Per usual, I have
Another
a
theory.
We're running out of
I don't
space for
think-
these theories.
Look, I don't think that he was crying because he was so touched by like their connection. I think he was crying because he was genuinely afraid of heights and looking over her shoulder at the skyline below.
Well, we know Nick loves the Green Bay Packers, but we don't know that how he feels about heights, and it's surely possible, Case. We'll have to do some Batch Boys reconnaissance into that.
Wonder how he feels about Jordan Rodgers. If he's a Green Bay Packers fan, I wonder how he feels about Aaron Rodgers' brother.
Oh,
Should do some research on that.
Interesting.
let's speculate. I bet he hates him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, I bet he.
Well,
If Aaron Rodgers doesn't talk to him,
but he's really good friends with Chris Sewells, right? As we saw in the first episode, and Chris Sewells is a farmer, so he must work with goats all the time. So it only makes sense through that 4 or 5 degree separation that he would be a fan.
Where's Kevin Bacon in all of this? I missed the
Well,
Kevin Bacon part.
There's also pigs,
Oh,
goats and
that's
pigs
good.
and bacon. Yeah, so I can riff.
6 degrees, killing the game.
Thank you.
We got it. Batch Boys. It was just connecting all the threads, one farm animal at a time.
Yeah. Speaking of farm animals,
Well, actually finish that transition.
you want me to?
Oh yeah, please.
please.
do.
I'd love to know where that's going.
I was kind of hoping someone else would step in, but I can do this. As speaking of farm animals,
Let's talk about Corinne.
let's talk about Corinne.
Yeah, I mean, that's the obvious transition. Real quick, I would like to say I thought it was a beautiful moment on the one-on-one where Nick's crying, she's dominating him verbally and emotionally.
Very 50 Shades Darker.
Oh, so there was so many shades of gray in that date, and there really was, because it was like, who is the Bachelor, who's the Bachelorette? In this situation, it was really interesting. I think I don't know. She's still my pick for the Bachelorette. I think she's too good for Nick. Not that I don't like Nick. I just think that she's on a different wavelength. It's like watching.
Well, she's Canadian.
Exactly. It's like watching
She's
a Canadian.
French Canadian.
Bonjour.
she just
Yeah.
seemed more mature.
And cheer.
Ah, mais oui.
They leave off the S.
Yeah, on a serious note, you're right. She is just more mature
Yeah,
than him.
that's
I mean,
what
he
I-
cried
yeah.
at his first sign of emotion instead of just making out with like the 12-year-old that Corinne is.
Well, no, hold on. I don't think we should knock that. I think emotion is a powerful thing, and it's a mature thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with crying or feeling. I feel like those are
Definitely not. Definitely not.
no. I
There's
cry
something wrong
all
with
the
cry-
time.
I cry
There's
so
something
much.
wrong.
I'm
with
crying
Nick,
under the
yeah.
table right now. I'm crying at all times of the day. And
He's crying out of his pants.
yeah,
So-
I have an apparatus that sucks my tears in, and just kind of soaks the carpet. And you heard
Yeah,
it here
yeah.
first. So
Yeah, we
Casey's diabetic, and I have foot tears.
I have bunions.
Theo, what do you have?
I'm just not gonna go there.
Woohoo! A spoiler or
He's got
cliffhanger.
He's
Another
got
day.
scurvy.
Mhm.
From all his
just-
years on ships.
I'm just so terrified of oranges and citrus that I have just horrible. I can't even speak because of my scurvy.
yeah,
I just
I
have
feel that.
Horrible scurvy.
He
Oh,
hasn't-
no.
Yeah, he doesn't even look at.
Well,
limes.
anyway, so I think it's something to be almost, I think we can praise Nick for his ability to finally come in tune with his emotions and to cry and stuff in front of this woman who clearly is an amazing person. And I just think that we need to get Corinne out. We got to send her home.
Yeah.
We got to get him so he can enjoy his time with these women who are here for the right reasons and who don't constantly drag down conversations that other people are trying to have.
Wait,
Amen.
Hold on, we need to backtrack. We forgot about the moment when they kissed after she threw up, and he goes, "It tastes fine."
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah.
so sweet. It was
What?
gross. It was
That
gross
was
when
nice.
Evan and Carly did it on Paradise. That was disgusting.
Because it's
No,
Evan.
Nick
Because-
was really nice. Nick
We
Nick
hate
really
you, Evan.
handled that date well. Like, as far as a once in a lifetime opportunity can go, getting spoiled by puking, like, he handled it really well. He was really sweet to her and like laid down in zero gravity. I don't even know how he was doing that, but he laid alongside of her. Like, that
It's
was
a
really
power
cool.
of
Whoa,
love.
that's poetic. I laid down in zero gravity.
Yeah, like that's 50 Shades
Defied
even darker.
physics.
I'd say that was the best look for him all season.
Yeah,
was
he's been
that
awesome.
date.
And what certainly didn't look good for him was all that stuff in the bounce house. But
Right after.
which like Is there a surplus of bounce houses right now, guys? I swear to God, like I drive past a bounce house every freaking day, a new one, and then there's one on my favorite show.
Yeah. Air is free.
Pay me for the air I just leased you.
There you go. For our audio listeners,
switched
I
it.
just breathed into a glass.
And I sucked in his CO2, and it was totally the reverse of the bit I was trying to do, but it
And
worked.
Casey and I watched.
Oh well. If it's okay with you guys, I would just like to not even dignify Corinne with any type of discussion. So I'm gonna remove
You're gonna
myself.
bow out?
Well, it's going to be a lot of silence from
Good,
you.
I don't
man.
want to hear you talk anyways.
Basically, my biggest problem with Corinne right now is honestly not even with her. It's with the show because, like, the producers are just enabling her. They're like, oh, what's some crazy, you want some whipped cream? Oh, yeah, take some whipped cream.
Let me tape off the logo real quick first.
Like, oh, you want to bounce around? We could probably fly on a bounce castle. Like, yeah, he'd love that. Because they turn her into a sex object. Like they've tried to turn Nick into one with constantly showing his abs.
But she's so in on it. She wants that to happen.
Well,
She
yeah.
wants to be the one that gets all
That-
the
She
that's
put a
true.
trench coat on.
So yeah. So I'm still not weighing in here at all.
Okay, good.
But Corinne is obviously a pawn of the producers. You know,
She's a
it's
plant.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's been planted there to cause drama and to cause conversation topics, and it's so stupid. She can't get a blow up castle there. She can't get a bounce house there on her own. People
Exactly.
had to make that happen.
Dude, her
She
nanny,
owns a
her nanny
multi-million
definitely made that happen.
Shout outs to Raquel, the number one, the MVP.
Raquel made it.
Yeah.
It happened for her.
The best was like that moment too when like Nick was finally told about her nanny and like this like beam of light goes off in his eyes as he realizes that like how weird it was that he was in a bounce house with her and that she has a nanny and that like she's just not a woman and he's just like
pet theory.
"Ooh, I'm
Pet theory.
36."
She's actually 13-year-old. She's probably younger, like 7. She's just like matured really quickly, or like went to the war young and faked her papers. You know.
She's just a rough Russian orphan.
Yeah, just like
There's already
Shoshana.
one of those on the show.
Shoshana.
Yeah, you don't know that, Theo. That was a last year bit.
Who's Theo?
I mean, Alex
Alex
F.
Never heard of him.
I don't know who that is. It's
Um,
half of his last name, guys. Good luck figuring the rest out.
Yeah, don't go to our website, www.batchboys.net, because you won't find it there /theboys.
And you'll get a virus. Just kidding. You won't get a virus.
You'll get an infection, a love infection. And that's not to be
For us.
confused with an infection that's brought on by making
Yeah,
love.
not that. You'll catch a common cold for the Batch Boys.
It's very manageable. You can still go to work. You just have to change your routine a little bit.
All right, we're running out of time because we're on a different camera today. We got technical difficulties up the wazoo because Daniel's our big tech guy, but he's busy doing tech for other people because
He's keeping time.
he's keeping time. But the point is, we gotta finish plowing through here. We had the group date, our second round of physical challenges for love in the early parts of the season. This was track and field, general track and field. Is that what it was?
Yeah. It was, long jump, high jump, and a dash.
It
which,
was actually very
and a
competitive and
javelin
very
throw.
exciting.
Yeah, but
I was underwhelmed. Thoroughly underwhelmed.
One thing that's been pointed out
I don't watch
earlier
a ton of sports
in
so
this
this was-
season. No,
this was
totally.
big for
I
me.
got my fill for sure.
Yeah, it's like the Super Bowl, man.
But one thing that I feel is pretty consistent is that the dates seem to go like A team, B team, as far as like good, like people you want to see and people that it'll
And
be
Dominique.
okay if your power goes out halfway through.
Totally.
So yeah, we got some new faces this episode. We got Dominique and
She was
one of
Mrs.
the
Salty,
blondes.
yes.
Dude, I feel bad for her. There's always one girl every season who gets like thrown into the back of the pack a little bit and then just starts questioning everything they've ever done in their life.
Leah last
Yes.
season?
Yeah,
And then they
totally.
call out
Oh,
The
yeah.
Bachelor for like not coming to them and it's like, girl, you're on The Bachelor. Like you gotta go talk to him. This is where the roles are reversed a little bit from modern society or
Totally. Yeah. So
traditional
here's a
society.
question I have for you. So here's a question.
yeah, hit me.
Since we clearly have this divide between the A's and the B's, is there anyone that you feel in this B group, we're going to be calling it unfortunately, that you feel should even stick around anymore?
Yeah, Rachel, the attorney. She was in the B group this week. Was
Well,
she
she
really?
got the rose on the date, so
Right.
I think that makes her like an honorary.
I thought
A.
Astrid did.
No, Astrid got the extra time, but
Oh.
Rachel got the okay. That's a fair answer. Definitely Rachel. Obviously, she's the closest, tied with Danielle M for age appropriate wife material.
Yeah.
And so we'd
Not
be sad to
25.
see her go. But other than that, like I found myself personally, not to be too harsh, but it's just like, everybody's already talking about like, I don't know if I even want to be here. If like you're gonna act this way, maybe I should leave. If these women keep getting the proverbial shaft and not the good one, are
Yes,
Are
the
they-
proverbial one.
the proverbial one?
Or is it good?
That why even bother sticking around? I feel like this season is going to be a lot of hoopla, and I think Nick needs someone who just doesn't. They just know hoopla, and I think he needs to stop giving
No
them the
hoopla.
hoopla.
Well,
That's
you know who's got a
Vanessa
lot of hoopla? Astrid.
That's
She's a whole lot of hoopla.
Oh yeah,
And hashtag whole lot of hoopla. And
That's a new one.
I think like you're right. All these girls are there just to go on fun sporty dates and like laugh and be on television. Like even like I love my pick Sarah, but I don't see her trying for the love. I see her just trying to be cool on TV, and I'm like, Sarah, you got to put yourself out there if you're gonna win for me. You need to win for me.
Well, no one's guard is down. That's the problem. Everyone's guard is still way up, unless you're like a Vanessa, who for some reason is some kind of emotional savant. Like she's
Canadian.
that comes
Yeah.
with maturity and age.
and being a Canadian citizen, probably. I wouldn't know. That's why I'm so freaking closed off. Give me these are more wine.
Yeah,
You don't need wine. You need citizenship.
Yeah, God,
Yeah,
marry me,
hoser.
Vanessa. Marry me so I can have citizenship up there, way up in Northtown, America's hat,
yeah,
Northton, Canada.
definitely.
No, but
absolutely.
you bring up a good point. I feel like Nick should just cut it to like 6 and call it a day and get on with it.
Yeah, right. Move to Utah, just wrap it all up. One big celebration.
pick 6, you goof.
Oh, see, pick 6. I thought
You goof.
was an existing expression.
Is it?
Let me get
It is. It's when you
This
you
actually
get a reception.
This does
Or
bring up an
interception.
interesting point. I believe we had some fan mail come in this week. We had someone write
did.
into us, and he had an interesting question. Let's give him a little shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. So this comes to our very good friend and fellow member of the Batch Nation, James H. I believe. Sorry, I'm having trouble bringing it up.
Long-time fan, first-time writer.
Yeah. So
I want to focus on his first question.
yeah, take from James's example. Write unto us www.batchboys.net/contact and share your opinions, your thoughts, any questions, and we'll read them out here on the air. So going back to James H. He's a 24-year-old software engineer from New Canaan, Connecticut. So thank you, James. James says, boys, do you think Nick is really bad at sex and thus leads to his breakups? The evidence is mounting.
Yes, without a doubt. The man
Yes, without a doubt.
the man gets dumped after the fantasy suite every freaking time. Is that a coincidence? Probably.
It's a beautiful coincidence.
but I like.
Someone came on the show after having sex with him, like Liz.
But
had
didn't
sex
give
with
him her phone number immediately after.
Yeah. And once she found out he was the Bachelor, is when she, okay.
Well,
You know, fair.
look, I want to make a double-edged point of some sort. I agree with you guys. I think he's definitely bad at sex. The evidence is insurmountable. But I don't think that's why his relationships fail. I think his relationships fail, outside of the Bachelor ones, which of course failed exactly after the fantasy suite. So due to sex. But I think his relationship fails because I think he puts too much emphasis on sex. It seems like it seems like for him the first 6 weeks of dating are just finding out if you like enjoy making out with them 24/7 because that's all he's doing with the ones he seems to have a connection with. And like besides Vanessa, who he just like cry kisses.
Well, I guess that's kind of my point. The whole show, this whole season's about sex. It's crazy. Like Nick, they sexualize Nick. That's the whole thing. Ben was like, he's a really great guy. Chris was like, he's an earnest farmer, and Nick's like, he's got abs. Like that's his only
Well, he
defining
does.
trait.
Yeah, and it's about time, I think is kind of the whole shtick here.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
kind of a why not season.
Totally.
Our contestants are younger than ever. They're
And he's older.
He's older than ever. Just everything about this just screams like, let's try things we've been wanting to for a long time.
It's fan fiction.
and see if it sticks.
That's
It
what I
kind
love
of is.
about Bachelor girls. I keep getting older. They stay the same age. Yes, they do.
Well, they're actually getting younger, guys. This might be a problem. This might be an
True.
epidemic. I have a theory that the Bachelor is sapping the life force out of the people that are not here for the right reasons. And they get younger and younger, and pretty soon we're just going to have batch babies.
Well, look at the twins. They were
and
21.
it's not even going to be the Bachelor anymore. It's going to be the doula. Just who can duel a baby the best?
And then make it fall in love with a 36-year-old
Can you
man.
imagine that group dueling? Duel on group dates with babies?
Dueling doulas. Guys, if you work for a reality show production company and you're a fan of the Batch Boys, give us money to make dueling doulas coming to A&E this spring.
You don't think ABC will want it?
No, hell no.
That's a
They don't want
TLC show if I've ever heard one.
ABC doesn't want anything to do with us yet.
All right, fair enough.
I want to get back to James's
We're
question.
intimidating to them.
Yeah.
And I think the real issue here is like, tell me if you guys are with me or not. I'm starting to get the feeling that this isn't going to work for Nick. I'm starting to get the feeling that at the end of this, he's not going to find love.
Three times.
That's what they're hinting at. They keep saying the previews are like, is he going to get married? I don't know. Is he going to get turned down?
I don't think he's going to get turned down. I think he ends up not proposing. I think he might just not be in love at the end of this. I'm really worried about it because I think he and some of the women are going about this the completely wrong way. It's all sex. You're
You
right.
might finally have the epiphany that dating multiple women over the course of a month or two is not the best way to find love.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to have like, I'm here for Nick, obviously. Like that's what the Batch Boys are all about. We care about the Batch. We care about Nick. You know, even if we disagree with some of his actions, we love Nick and we want the best for him.
I love him like a dog that won't stop humping the neighbors that come over. It's like, yeah, you're a little wild and you're probably sexualizing that ankle a little too much, but you're my man and I love you.
Yeah,
He's furry and he's got abs.
But I can definitely see this not ending well, and I hope that's not the case. I just feel like he's probably going to make a lot more enemies than friends on the road to the end. And there's just going to be a lot of people who are like, oh, Nick, he's just who I thought he was. He's a total, bad guy. And hopefully he'll find love either with Danielle or Sarah or Vanessa.
Or
Brittany.
Danielle.
Or Christina.
What about
Danielle.
Brittany?
Definitely Christina.
I like Brittany. Hi, Brittany.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
what's up, Brittany?
I just feel like I can see it in like.
How you doing?
You, Brittany?
How you living?
Britt.
I feel like I can see it in like Chris Harrison's eyes. There's a sadness in his eyes this season that I don't usually see. I don't see that twinkle. I just feel like he doesn't buy it.
Dude, he's burned out. Like, he doesn't even show up anymore, and I'm not even, like, surprised. It's like the same thing as I'm not surprised when they don't show us a rose ceremony anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe
Like,
his
it
novel
pissed
didn't
me
sell
off.
well.
That's what I'm saying. Everything about this season is just just throwing things at it. Like, yeah, 2 episodes where we don't get to see the end, 2 to be continueds. Young contestants, a lot more profanity this season. I don't know if you guys have noticed. There's
just
a lot
more
of profanity.
sex. Like, and maybe it's
More
just because
sex.
Nick, that's his reputation, but like, I don't know. It's like even the Batch Boys. I feel like all last season we didn't say the word sex this many times for the whole season.
Like, this wouldn't like the problems that have arisen so far, and this is what episode 3, week 3. None of that would have ever happened on Ben's season.
Which,
But
like,
does
And just any of it.
Does
like,
it shock you that this is coming from the season where the guy had sex with the Bachelorette like a week in?
it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but no, it's not surprising nonetheless.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I'm pulling for Nick. I hope the best comes out of it, but I just feel like we just got to keep our heads up,
I think it's up to the Batch Boys really this season, guys, to
Yeah.
keep this season about love and not let the season get too caught up in sexuality or in, drama. I think, it's up to the Batch Boys to really ground Bachelor Nation, Batch Boys Nation in the right reasons. And so to end this episode, I'd like to just make a plea with you, Batch Boys Nation. This is our time. This is our time to show ABC that we love love. Unadulterated love, like the kind you see with Vanessa and Nick, not this garbage and bouncy castles covered in whipped cream with Corinne, who admittedly I still like her.
Stop it.
I like her
You're
a lot.
ruining your own
Not
song.
like I
Stop
want
it.
a relationship with her. I just like television. But the point is, guys, stand stronger than I did just there. Make it known that
have
we
a spine.
and a point. All we want is the right reasons, and I'm going to cheers to the right reasons as soon as we talk about fantasy.
Yeah, so we're just going to throw this out there, everybody. Thanks for all the support. This has been a lot of fun. Big shouts out. Eric D still keeping the lead.
He's killing it.
He had a little bit of a backslide this week, so I'm right on your tail, bud. And along there with me is Daniel B, Chaotic Mom.
Well, Daniel B is number 2.
Daniel B is number 2. He's tied in number 2 with Chaotic
Whoa,
Mom
jeez.
and Hannah T.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
100%.
I'm right there behind you guys by
Tied
10
for fifth.
points. 10 points.
But you're in 5th.
Jake's
What place am I in now?
Not
well,
good.
let's find out. Alex F., you're in 13th place.
I got one question right this week.
Yeah,
You had a bad week,
because you
bud.
killed it first week.
And then we got Ryan S. at 27.
It's because of the handicap, and I answered questions intentionally wrong this week too. Like last week, I didn't answer any
yeah.
questions
Oh,
because I
yeah.
wanted
You're going
to
with
give
the golden
points.
snitch method.
Yeah. And I just figure, I'm going to win in the end anyway because I picked Daniel M. So none of this really matters, but I am enjoying it.
Yeah, and KCS is in 16th, tied with a lot of people in 16th. Yes. But we got a cool 100 there, Case. Not bad, not bad.
That is cool. I'm
going
going to
this
stay
week?
right there.
Yeah, you're just
Oh,
110 behind first place.
I'll be there.
Which
What
is
am I at,
like
like
so
70?
you're like 45 percentile.
What am I at? Like 20?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, cheers to there being only more episodes left in the season and more opportunities for me to prove that I'm going to win, even though everyone else is doing way better. Way to go, guys.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers to the right reasons.
To the right reasons.
And to Nick.
And to Nick.
To Nick.
Yeah.